Okay, so here we go. I moved the tray close to the rack that we're going to put them on to spray with glue. Reason for that is less room you have to transport, the less a chance you have of losing rocks all over the floor. You're going to have to sweep or broom them up, vacuum, whatever, and less a chance for a disaster. So I put the tray very close to the tray we're actually going to glue these on. And like I say, as you do notice, this tray has like little slats in it here, little gaps. And like I said, very important that you have that, because when you do pour the coal, when you do pour the glue, the extra glue that might seep off of the side of the coal load or actually go through the styrofoam, the foam, and under the bottom, is going to drip down. And if it drips down and you have a solid piece of plywood or whatever, you're going to end up gluing all of these to your plywood and you're going to have a mess. So what you do now, this is where the sticks that we glued in the middle, remember we had something like this and we glued these in here. The reason for that is to give it a little bit extra strength when we pick it up and transform it. So, this is only foam, so it don't bend and flop around. Now you want to pick it up with two hands, one on each side. So we're going to give it an attempt and see how it goes. Okay, that went well. Just take your time. There's no hurry. Sometimes guys that do scratch-built projects or scratch-built buildings, it takes weeks. This is not by any means going to take weeks. It will take hours. I'm going to be real honest. I did your cost analysis on making these. I do not make these commercially or sell them. I just make them for personal use. I filtered in the cost, and yes, it does take a lot of time. It takes, but that's like with any project. If you buy a 1,000-piece puzzle, you're not going to finish it in an hour. So I'll be honest with you. The cost analysis on this, when you buy all the products, is like 75 cents a coal load. So, think of it. If you make 10 coal loads, that's $7.50. If you make 20 coal loads, that's $15. That's equivalent to 2 bottles of smoke fluid. So that by no means is a bad thing. I'm not exactly sweating $15 to make 20 coal loads. So so far we're having luck. I don't want to put my foot in my mouth. I hate when that happens. You just take your time, take your time, take your time. And there they go. They're all set on the rack right here. And the next step I'm going to do is get the sprayer. Now, when I do spray, I did recommend a power sprayer, like a weed sprayer. You have a little tank and a pump that causes the pressure. You just push the button on a wand and it sprays glue all by itself. Of course, mine was misbehaving. So I just simply went to an old spray bottle, and it works just fine. We're not making 100 of these. If you're going to make 5 or 10 or even 20, it's not terrible if you use a regular spray bottle. So these are all set for gluing now. So what we're going to do is we're going to glue, and I'm going to show you the best way to do that in order to get a full and even amount of glue and plenty of glue. You don't want it saturated to the point where it's like pouring out, but don't exactly be cheap with the glue, because you're not going to like the end result. You might have a couple of pieces chip off, or it's not going to dry right. So make sure when you do spray them with glue, you're very thorough and give them an ample amount of glue. Now I'll show you more about it when we glue them, but when I do spray them, whatever method I use is spraying them, I go around the 4 sides of the coal load, and then I go down the middle, and I repeat if necessary. What you want to do is you want to make sure it gets to the point where as you're spraying glue, no matter where on the coal load, whether it be the middle, the sides, the ends, whatever, you want to make sure that you're starting to see the white of the glue come up out of the rocks, because that means that your glue is all the way down to the base, and you're going to have a nice result when it's all finished and dried up. So we're going to spray these with glue, and we're going to leave them dry, and then that's pretty much it. I'm going to show you how to finish them off and polish them up and make them pretty, and I think you'll be very pleased with the results. So right now I'm going to get the glue ready, and we're going to start to spray them. But we're pretty much done. All we need to do at this point is spray them with glue and let them dry, and they do that all by themselves. And then once they're dry, I'm gonna take them out. I work in my garage because that's where I have my bandsaw, and we're gonna take them out and trim them up and make them look pretty. And we took a basic piece of foam, and this is where we're at now. And you're going to see where it ends up, and you'd be amazed at the results. If you take your time and you're very diligent about it, you're going to be very pleased with the product. And like I said, it looks much better than any of the coal loads that come with the manufacturers, coal hoppers. I'm not saying anything about any of them, but they mass produce them. It's basically a piece of plastic they stick in the top to resemble coal. But none of them are really all that realistic. This is about as realistic as you could get. This particular material is something called Black Beauty, and it's actually coal slag that is normally used for sandblasting. So, if you're looking for a realistic coal load, and the material you're using, for the rocks is coal slag, you can't get much better than that unless you grind up the real thing. So we're going to spray these right now and let them dry, and then we're going to show you how we finish them off and make them look good. Okay, so here we are in the garage. In front of my bandsaw, I have our dried coal loads. This is what they look like when they're all dried. Now, in all of your hoppers, as you go down into the hopper, it looks like, I don't know, about a half an inch or so straight down, and then it slopes in. And it does it on both sides, where you'll go down and it'll slope on a 45-degree angle. So what we have to do in order to make that fit properly is to kind of nick off part of the corner here, right in here. Otherwise, it's going to sit too high up in the coal load. So all we have to do is set it on its side. Just like that, just kind of slice it off. If you are using a bandsaw or any kind of electrical tool, obviously be very, very careful and keep safety first. And this is all we do. We just cut the corners off. We'll do one more. Like I said, safety is obviously very important. Any way you can do this, like I said, if you have a hobby knife or a good pair of scissors, whatever you can do or use to cut, whatever you're comfortable with. I'm lucky enough to have this, and I kind of let this do the work for me. And there we go. They're all cut. And like I said, what you want is right in here. Just angle it in, so when you place it into your coal hopper, this angle will match the other angle inside your hopper, and you'll have a nice fit. Okay, so here we go. We're ready to put the finishing touches. Everything's been trimmed, the glue is dry, everything's all done. So all we have to do is add the finishing touch. Now what I do is I get a black spray paint. I go around the sides. Now technically you really don't need to if you have it fitted really good. But just in case there's a little spot that's a little thinner than the rest of the coal load, what this does is it helps cover it up, and you don't see it through the hopper. All you see is coal all the way down to the bottom of the car. So all I do is just get a regular can of gloss urethane paint or spray. And just like we did with the black, just go over the top of the coal load with the urethane. I usually leave these sit overnight to dry. Same reason as the glue and everything else, just to give them a good night to dry. From beginning to end, this probably will take you 2 or 3 days, only because you don't want to rush it. And you want to make sure that the steps are properly done. Otherwise you may have a problem with your finished product. I've had a couple problems here and there where I didn't do anything right or I tried to rush. So that's why I don't do it anymore. It's a fun project to do. Some guys are into scratch building buildings. I do this. And I like it better. It looks better. And it's something I like to do. So once again, these are only thoughts or suggestions on what I do. If at any point in this video you think you have a better idea or something is easier another way, I'm always open to suggestions. So feel free to leave a comment if you like or have a better idea. So this is pretty much it. They are done. So our coal loads are finished. We take them out tomorrow once they're all dry, because you don't want to have wet spray paint or urethane and then try to load it in your hopper car and you'll have residue or paint or something on the side. So just leave them be. You leave them go for 24 hours. Tomorrow morning they'll be dry. I'll pick them up, pop them in the hoppers, and we'll show you what they look like inside the hoppers running around. Hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and maybe I gave you a couple ideas on how to make it work for your railroad. You can make them any size. Believe me, the coal load in this is for a 34-foot composite hopper from MTH. Just slips right in and it looks fantastic. And this one is for a humongous hopper. This is for an MTH Premier 4-bay. So as you can see, they're quite different in size. So you're not limited as to what you can do with it. You just take the proper measurements for your car and or cars, and you could go ahead and do it works good for you. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. It's a lot of fun to do. I enjoy making these. I make them for my cars. I do it whenever I get some new hoppers. I replace every single one of them. I just like them much better, and it looks much more realistic. So it's only meant to give you an idea. If you find a better way of doing it, heck, let me know. I'm always open to suggestions. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please feel free to give me a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe or hit the bell button so you don't miss anything in the future. And I always say, if you feel free to leave a comment. I read every single one and I respond to every single one. I like hearing from you guys. It gives me ideas of what to do for some videos, believe it or not. It's giving me some ideas on what to do or what to change on my layout. And hopefully I've helped along the way. So feel free to leave a comment. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Everybody take care and be safe.